and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 36. My name is Ryan Higgins. I'm joined by some fine and lovely folks this evening.
Did he say I'm Joanne?
I'm joined. I could feel a cold is coming on, so if I'm more nasally than normal, that is why.
You being nasally with me on this show is a little ridiculous.
Yeah. And who would you be, Mr. Nasally number 2?
I am Mr. Toby.
And we also have...
Oh yeah, Brock's here.
Hey, Brock.
Hey.
Why don't
Or
you
I
get off
could
your
be the
goddamn...
mighty Toby.
Why don't you get off your goddamn phone and be part of this podcast for once?
Yes,
you
sir.
Because I'm trying to pick my comics for this week, man.
Asshole. Okay.
I'm not a saver.
Comics.
Jerk.
Nobody likes comic books. So let's read some emails about comic books here.
Woohoo!
We're here to talk to you this week about comic books and comic book related culture and all sorts of geeky crap. So let's get.
What is this, our new intro?
Let's get it on.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
What is wrong with you?
Nothing. What's wrong with you?
A lot.
Is that your foot? Okay.
Whoa.
I got an email here from I think it's Bevins. It may be B. Evans. Bevins?
You complained about him and me flirting last week. Now you guys are playing footsies, man.
I'm not playing footsies. He wants to play footsies.
I'll just say this is from Bevins. Hello, Bevins. I thought I had a pretty good grasp on what DC is publishing thanks to the New 52 showing me exactly what they're doing. However, I began to notice that DC is still publishing other books that aren't part of the New 52 with pretty major characters, too. You guys have mentioned The Shade. I've also seen Huntress, another Batman series called Odyssey, and even an upcoming series about the Penguin. My question for you guys, what else is DC publishing that I may have missed beyond the New 52? Why aren't these books part of the New 52 relaunch? Besides the fact they would have had to change the name. And are there any sites... Oh, well, actually, there's a third question, but we'll attend to those first two first.
Yeah, I thought the Huntress is part of the new 50.
The Huntress and the Penguin are part of the new.
Yeah, Huntress and Penguin are. The ones that kind of seem out of touch with the New 52 are The Shade, Batman Odyssey, Batwoman...
Batwoman
is half and half.
Yeah, it's like
Right.
continuation yet as part of the new one.
Yeah.
Right. There was one more that was jumping out at me. Legion really is not... I mean, it's continuing the old continuity.
Legion of Superheroes is continuing with the old continuity, but they're aware something happened.
Right, they're aware of Flashpoint.
Yeah, they're aware of Flashpoint. And then Legion Lost is based in the New 52.
In the New 52. And I wanted to say there was one more that kind of, like, Batman Dark Knight kind of feels a little...
Dark Knight's in it.
It is, but it feels a little
out of it, yeah.
Because he's involving the Joker, he's involving all these other characters where most of the other books are sort of doing their own thing. So it kind of feels...
They're continuing the DC Universe Online Legends, which is completely out of any context.
Right.
Because that's attached to the video game.
In the case of Batman Odyssey, that was a miniseries that started previously to the New 52. They sort of did half of it, ended it, and they're coming back for the second half. That's just like a weird-ass Neil Adams written and drawn Batman doing a bunch of drugs or something. It's a weird-ass book.
Was My Greatest Adventure in the New 52?
I mean... that's the other one. That's the other one. It was Weird World Tales.
Yeah.
It was an anthology miniseries that came out about a year ago with Lobo, Garbage Man, and
some chick.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. Done by Kevin. The guy from Justice League International. Oh my god, Kevin McGuire. That's written and drawn by Kevin McGuire. And so now they've done My Greatest Adventure, which is an old DC title that they've redone with these characters as sort of a continuation of that miniseries. And yeah, it's not really part of the New 52. I mean, all their kids stuff, that's not part of it. So there's a lot of different stuff. I think it's just they had stuff they still wanted to publish. Not everything is part of their continuity, so these are just some different books.
But now, in all fairness, some of the stuff was never part of the continuity to begin with.
Right,
like even before the New 52. So
they
were kind of always there anyway.
Yeah. The other question he had, which actually, Brock, I know you got something new want to recommend on this. It says, are there any sites you would recommend to help me see exactly what each comic company is publishing at any given time and what they will be publishing in the future? I use Comic Book DB regularly, but you have to know a comic exists to track it on there. Brock, I know you use an app on your Droid phone that you really like.
I use what's called Comic Shopper. It gives you a preview list for the next week, and you can select titles that would get put in your shopping cart. You're not buying anything. All you're doing is kind of maintaining a list of stuff to buy that you want to buy on Wednesday. It's a free app. They have ads on the bottom, but I've never had any real problems with the app before, which is what I was actually on.
Is it also a database?
It does database what you don't buy.
Can you put your collection in there?
No.
No. Right.
But it does database. It does save what you don't buy. No. So, like, let's say you put, Batman, No Man's Land Volume 1 trade, and you didn't buy it this week. It'll stay in your shopping cart until you say record purchases. So,
more like a checklist and like a long.
Yeah, it's like a checklist. Instead of handwriting out that list every
like a grocery
week,
list
or printing up a list of everything that's coming out. Because I don't know, I never really went to any sites to see what was coming out week to week.
I mean, the best way to do it is either pick up a previews catalog or go on like Newsarama or Comic Book Resources when they have the new solicitations that come out.
Those are normally Mondays, Sundays or Mondays.
It's Monday for DC, Tuesday for Marvel. Independent stuff comes out whenever. Yeah. So like the DC solicitations went up today as we record this on Tuesday or on Monday.
Yeah,
so
I looked at some of them,
Right.
But that's the future titles.
Right. That's what's coming out in 2 months.
Yeah.
So...
But if you're looking for stuff like week to week, Comic Shopper does do a nice thing on your smartphone and allow you to make a list of stuff. Oh, this is what I need to buy, or this is what I need to look at while I'm at the shop. This seemed interesting.
And it's always worth going to what are you reading threads? Like we have one on the Geekbox website. You can go there and forums at geekbox.net, and you can kind of just talk with people what you bought that week, and people may be talking about some stuff that maybe you haven't read before. So
yeah, and I always post my poll list up on conspiratorbrock.com, so you can see what I'm buying week to week. I mean, my titles are pretty much the same going, but sometimes I put new stuff on there. But I do try and make a comment about titles as I go. Yeah. This week I lost Stormwatch and Legion's Secret Origin. I'm no longer going to... Nope. Done.
You lost them.
They lost. They lost me.
I actually dropped... I'm trying to cut back on a few titles that I take home. I still want to read these, but these will be in-store reading. Captain Atom and Mr. Terrific. I was sort of on the fence on both of those, and I sort of just like, eh.
Yeah, they lost me Mr. Terrific just because Power Girl not being in there right now.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was the main reason why I was reading it. So until they bring her back in her own book or she's showcased in like a JSA book or something.
Yeah.
I still like Captain Atom. I'm still going with that one.
It's okay, but I'm trying to...
Trim the fat.
I'm trying to cull the okay books.
Yeah.
Because my reading is just getting... I don't want to get back to where I was before and just so bogged down in so many unread books.
So I have a question. For this new 52, did you just say, hey, I'm going to hit the reset button and not read anything except the 52 stuff?
No, I mean, I still have the pre-new 52 that I'm going
still
through.
reading?
I have maybe about 150 books before the relaunch I got to finish.
Jesus.
Had some of those come out now, I probably wouldn't get them. Like that Weird World Tales.
Yeah.
It's okay, but I'm just like, eh. So like, I'll finish it off. But I've been putting this off for a couple of months now, but I am going to sort through all my books because I have about 3 or 4 years of unsorted books I need to really sort through.
Yeah, me and you both.
Put into the collection.
You need to
Purge the collection.
Yeah, I got 5 boxes at home of Marvel.
I got way more than that. It's a little scary. I don't even want to touch it.
Long boxes?
No, mine are all short. I'm a short.
Mine are longs.
Yeah, but I might have more still, though. It's a little scary.
Yeah, I don't even want to count how many long boxes I have.
Yeah, no, I just don't like the long boxes.
Yeah.
I find them hard to maneuver and move from one end to another.
I've noticed with long boxes, if you have enough space and you have the ability to build shelving where you can put one row on a shelf, it works a lot better than
having a bunch of little boxes.
You can do the same for like the little boxes.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole concept behind the drawer boxes.
I do like the drawer boxes.
I can't stand the drawer boxes because you can only stack them like 4 high. If you get to 5, it starts to do that lean.
Well, I ended up picking up the BCW case where basically it's an outer shell that you put a regular BCW brand long box into. It's like a drawer box, but I find it's easier to move around, and even though they're thinner, I find they stack better.
Yeah.
Drawbox is a company that you build these boxes, but it's like a long box, but it pulls out instead of having a top that you remove, if people don't know what we're talking about. It's a really cool idea, but I find the boxes to be too expensive, too heavy, and they're a little shorter than long boxes.
They are.
Yeah,
and so it's kind of it's cool, but it's a little weird. I liked them at first, but I've moved over to these BCW ones. They're about half the price, and I think they work better. So
you have to show me.
Yeah, and because they're long...
Well, don't the BCW boxes stick out further?
Yeah,
they stick out a little bit further than the actual casing.
No, not on the BCW. It's a brand called BCW that makes bags, boards, and boxes and stuff. And these boxes are fit for the drawer that you put them in. They're fit for BCW, so they work fine. And they have short boxes and long boxes. So
Cool.
Yeah, it's pretty good company.
Yeah, but no, I think that because I've seen I've helped people with their collections and stuff, and like everybody has it in their closet, and you have to be lucky enough to have the closet that fits long boxes.
Yeah, most people don't.
And most people don't. And it's literally like an inch difference, like a depth of your closet. But yeah, I found that if you can build a like plywood shelf unit to stack your stuff on, that little just 1/4-inch plywood makes a whole lot of difference, because then you're just pulling boxes, shifting boxes that are one row.
Yeah, right now the reason why I mostly don't touch it is because it's just
because you're unstacking. You take it off the top.
It's too much work. Yeah. I do have my friend Omar in his little man cave. He has one of those IKEA exabyte shelves, and he put the short boxes in each little hole. And it looks really kind of nice. It's got some class to it. It's kind of cool, and everything is organized. And he goes through the things like a lot more often than I ever. I mean, I'm sure there's boxes I haven't touched in years.
It's one of those things where if you're unpiling a stack, it takes so much longer. If you're just pulling off of a shelf, it's so much easier.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree.
Well, it's frustrating where I have my comics now. It's in a storage unit.
I fucking hate where you have your...
Yeah, it's in that corner, right? On the balcony and on the outside.
Well, what's annoying, don't tell everyone. They're going to come to the house and steal my collection.
The address where Ryan lives, by the way, is 11123 Sesame Street. No, I'm kidding.
Well, the way it's set up is it's at a slant. So one half, you could stack 5-6 boxes high, and that's fine. And we actually came over and helped me put some shelving in, and that side's fine. The part where it slants down, it's annoying because the back row can only hold like 2 or 3 boxes, and then I have another row in front of that can go like 4 or 5 boxes high because of the slant. So it's like I have that area in the front, but all the stuff in the back, I'm like, how the heck? I'm never going to get to this stuff. I have to move everything.
Well, and at your house, I mean, not to knock it. I mean, I know people do it, but going from there into the house, you have to take your shoes off. So you already have the moving it out of the room.
Yeah, man.
Across the little thing.
Dirty out there. House is dirty enough. I don't want
to take the shoes off to bring it into the house. Yeah, that's a lot of work. I wouldn't. I'd go nuts.
So
most of my collection is not even at my place. Having half of it's at someone else's house.
That's never good.
Yeah,
that's never good.
Well, that's comic book talk. All right.
Yeah. This is comic book talk.
It is comic book talk. It's the frustrations of collecting.
We didn't steer away like in the last couple of podcasts. At least we're still in rail.
No, I said. Collecting. Well, that was comic book talk.
Now we're moving to something else.
Yeah, I got it.
Move on to more comic book talk. Damn, Toby, I thought I was sick. You sound terrible.
I know.
All right. Well,
you're getting worse and worse.
Yeah. It's been going on for like a week or two. It's no insulation in my place. It's like freaking cold as hell. I sleep with like 2 blankets.
Build a fort out of your boxes.
I have I sleep with towels over my head just because it's too freaking drafty, and it's
Lord.
bad. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Various news and bits to talk about from this last week of comic bookism.
Comic book ismness. Is this your word of the week?
So, one sad piece of news came out from last week is Jerry Robinson, often credited as the creator or co-creator of the Joker, along with a major artist on the early Batman comics. Did a lot of the early character designs or the early concept designs for Alfred, Two-Face. Partial co-creator of Robin, very, very, very important person in comic book history, passed away at the age of 89, if I'm not mistaken.
He's the same age as Stan.
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
Stan turns 89 at the end of the month.
Yeah, so
and he's in Stan's in another country right now, isn't he?
I think so. I saw something somewhere about it. Yeah.
So yeah, very sad news. I've seen him once or twice at conventions, but I never got his autograph or went up to him or anything like that. So it kind of always sucks when this happens. You're like, I should have. Well,
it's one of those things.
It's the same reason why I actually made sure I got Stan. Just because, man, you just never know. You just never know.
Yeah, I was lucky to meet Stan.
I really would have liked to have gotten Stan.
Yeah, and I'm really glad I got Michael Turner. I actually got him to do a little head sketch.
Oh, cool.
I was actually in LA when he died.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very lucky to meet Stan Lee real briefly. Kind of a
Oh, you did that recently.
Yeah, it was, early, last year.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I mean,
right,
I would have liked, as Brock so nonchalantly mentioned, I would have liked to have had other people involved, but unfortunately I was sort of limited, and it was a very, very quick, almost didn't happen sort of thing, but that was cool.
I got Stan to sign my Spider-Man poster. Tobey Maguire also signed, so I got Stan and Tobey Maguire on it.
It's the Spider-Man, the movie poster with the Twin Towers, right? Is it the Twin Tower one?
I got the one with the full body.
Which I thought it was the...
maybe it has the Twin Tower in back. I
thought it was in the eyeball.
Is it?
Is that not the one you got
No,
signed?
I think that's the bigger, it's more the headshot one.
Yeah.
I got like the body one where you see the full body.
Oh,
flying.
okay.
I did get the one with the eye. I just got it for friends. So, but I wanted a full body Spidey one.
Oh, okay. I thought that was the one you got signed.
No, but which is funny because Tobey Maguire actually signed it on. It's one of those, real movie posters where it's double-sided.
Yeah.
Well, Tobey Maguire signed it on the other side, which is kind of hilarious. And then when it came to Stan, I'm like, do I have him on the correct... Stan, you got to sign on the wrong side, too. So I got this reversed Spider-Man movie poster that both of them signed, but it's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just wanted him to sign my copy of Amazing Spider-Man 215.
Yes, I know. The fisting of Spider-Man.
The fisting of Spider-Man.
Oh, no.
What's weird is when you see Stan Lee in some of these interviews and stuff, he seems okay. Man, in person, ooh.
Yeah.
It was a little rough.
It's almost like to give him a little injection shot before interviews.
Yeah.
Woo, I'm alive!
Yeah, it must be something, because he was
Hey,
looking
Stan, there's a hot hoochie right here. Woo, I'm alive! Let's do the interview. No, I'm kidding.
But yeah.
Well, not to take away from, was it James?
Jerry Robinson.
Yeah.
So, yep, it really sucks. I mean, there's lots of back and forth with Bill Finger and what the heck is his name? Bob Kane. These guys are also.
We got some liquor we could just pour down. No,
co-creators of Batman
on the comic book floor here.
Not on my carpet.
Yeah, I was like,
carpet.
Freak out on the carpet, and it's only going to go to the cement underneath.
It's not.
I mean, there's been a lot of back and forth between Bob Kane and Bill Finger and Jerry Robinson about a lot of the early Batman stuff. Who actually created what? So I think is Bill Finger still alive? I don't think so. At this point, I think they're all dead actually. So Bill Finger died in 1974. So yeah, they're all I had no idea.
He died before you were born?
I had no idea when he died. I mean, I know Bob Kane died a long time ago, so I had no idea when Bill Finger died. So yeah, it sucks. Wow. So yep, they're all dead. So we will never know the truth, unfortunately. But I think most people...
I think all the kids can, fight it out now. And
yeah, I think most people credit Jerry Robinson as creator of the Joker. So despite Bob Kane...
all of the stuff that's gone on with the history of, who created what, who owns what, I think at this point in time, kind of just the respect is given in the field to the people that did it. Whether or not legally it's still that way, I think there's still respect given. Or hopefully.
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, at least on this podcast is given. Let's put it that way.
I also got some happy news. What I like to say is happy news to counteract the sad news. Maybe sad news to some people, but
the
not
happy
to
news,
me.
George Takei is unifying the Star Wars and the Star Trek fans.
I don't think that
to go against the Twilight.
Which is weird because Ryan's a Twilight fan.
Talk it. Bring it. well, let's wait. Let's see your George Takei thing.
Oh, well, no, I'm sure everybody's seen it today. It went viral.
See it. I didn't see it.
You didn't see it? This is what Ryan does to me, right? I tell him about things. I show him things. Sometimes before people, not always, but, rarely. There's the once or twice or 3 times I get him before the masses do. And he never credits me. Like months later, he'd be like, hey, blah, blah, this. Yeah, I know we did this and this. I'm like, I'm the one that told you about it.
Trust me.
Oh, it was you?
Trust me. I do this to Ryan Scott all the time.
You do it to me, too.
He used to be like, oh, this game. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. And then 6 months later, I'm like, hey, have you ever played this game? He's like, I told you about this game like a year ago.
All the time. This Ryan, no good memory in him.
And you're plugging him on AIM. On a constant basis with this stuff, and he's sitting here doing nothing, which we all know.
He's staring
and he
at
still doesn't.
The wall with the flame.
Yeah, exactly. He's still.
See, the problem is, I have people on AIM, I have people on Twitter, I have Brock yelling in my ear.
That's only Mondays and Tuesdays.
I got people on the podcast.
You don't have an excuse on Friday and Saturdays.
I got all the stuff that's coming at me at once. I don't remember who tells me what. I just know I have the information, and then I just
This is also why
put the information
when he's
out there.
like, Toby, you don't know about this? Toby, no. I told you about it. No, you haven't, Ryan. I have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah.
The only thing I will fully admit to, and I totally remember this, is when you telling me that Death was going to make an appearance in Action Comics. And what's so funny about this was you just hit me up by name. You were like, oh, I can't, that stuff about Death is crazy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You're like, Death. Like, what? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Which is funny because, I was like, that's your Death. It's yours. It's your Death. It's your character.
Well, when Death from Sandman appeared in Action Comics, Toby expected that I would have already heard about this. And so I must have actually been working for once, and I didn't see this pop up. And so Toby's sitting here thinking I've known about this for hours, and I didn't hear about it till like way later in the day, till Toby told me. And it was really till Toby told me. It was very funny. Very funny.
All right. Well, anyways, George Takei is putting a call out there for the Star Trek and Star Wars fans to unite against the common threat that is the Twilight, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
George Takei has always been kind of a character lately, and his little statement is pretty darn funny, I think.
Well, I think it's. I mean,
oh my!
Yeah,
I really wish he would have said the Twihards instead of the Twilight fans.
Well, it's funny that he's the one that's rebelling against Twilight. It's like, what, Twilight? You don't like it, Mister? Shirtless man in the
I know.
The show,
and he shows all those pictures of shirtless guys.
It's really funny. He's like, oh, I do like that.
I do like that, but
there's no epic battles. There's no camaraderie. It's pretty funny.
The only reason to watch Twilight, according to you, is some stupid 80s cameo appearance of some band member.
Correct. So I will tell the story.
He's in the Twilight movie?
Because I don't think I've ever said it here. I've only seen the first Twilight movie, and I will eventually watch the second and third ones. My sole reason for watching these is because one of my favorite bands is an 80s band called Bauhaus, 70s and 80s goth rock band out of the UK. Lead singer Peter Murphy makes a very brief cameo in the third movie. Now, of course,
what
normal
is the
person.
Third movie?
I have no idea.
A normal person would just looked at cameo up on YouTube.
Exactly.
On YouTube,
exactly.
Yeah.
But I figure if I'm going to
Ryan
watch,
Higgins is using that as an excuse to watch all the
it's no
movies.
excuse. I
Dude,
figure
you can't say this without a straight face.
I have to. I'm like, well,
He's smiling right now,
Exactly.
just to let the listeners know. Not anymore.
I need to know what the setup to the situation is, and if I'm going to see this, I might as well just watch the first two movies to go into the third
just
movie.
Wikipedia it.
So no, I'm not. No, why? I want to see it, and so I figured. And so, among my reason for not rushing out and seeing the second and third one, so I did watch the first one totally on a lark. I was like, look, I'm just going to watch this. It can't possibly be as bad as people make it out to be. So not only is it bad, it is worse than I could possibly have imagined. And if I may have said this already, but it's not that it's bad. It is, and the acting's bad. The special effects are terrible. It's a really, really bad movie. But it was the fact that it was boring as sin. It was incredibly slow. Nothing happens. It was not exciting. It was boring as all hell. And that to me is worse than bad. I thought it may be bad and fun, but it was just boring.
Yeah,
and that. So, and
Ryan does like bad movies.
And I've heard
just information out
like
there.
the Daredevil director's cut. I mean, I do admit I do like bad movies.
Dude, you haven't even seen it.
No, it's okay. He said before the New Year.
Yeah,
sorry,
we know.
I'm not gonna.
I'm ragging on him.
I have not given him shit ever since he said he's going to do it.
We are going to do a whole episode based around the Daredevil director's cut.
Now, if he doesn't watch about it New Year's, he will start watching Big Bang Theory. Yeah, so that's his punishment for not holding.
And that is punishment.
Yeah. So,
but yes. So I have seen the first Twilight movie. I will watch the second and third, and then I will be done with it. I will probably stop it after Peter Murphy's scene. I don't know.
You won't.
I don't know when he appears in it.
No, you won't. You will finish it. You know how I know this?
I don't think I will.
You know how I know this?
He likes Flash Gordon, the new TV show.
That Weird
Flash.
World Tales. It was okay. I'll try and finish it.
Yeah, but that's a comic book that I like, and I like Kevin McGuire, and Lobo is fine. This is Twilight, which is awful. I don't want to watch anything more than I absolutely have to.
Why did you even watch it in the first place?
You want me to talk? You should talk into the microphone.
Shut your mouth.
You know, what's funny on Twilight is, you know those inspirational posters where it's like blah, blah, and something underneath?
Yeah.
There's one, there's a bunch of mock ones out there on the internet, and there's quite a few are quite funny. There's one with, like, Twilight moms, and there's a bunch of, like, middle-aged ladies with these signs like, yeah, Jacob, yeah, this. And it said, Twilight moms, if these were men yelling out for underage girls, someone would call the cops.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought that was hilarious.
My favorite Twilight one is the one with Blade standing behind him with a spike.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blade
did
from...
you see the one where...
That's good.
Wait, who did the college humor one? Was it Blade going into Twilight and starts murdering the vampires, or was it Samuel L. Jackson character trying to recruit them to join the Avengers? I don't know. It might have been both. They might both exist, actually.
I never saw that.
There's college humor site is do a bunch of spoofs.
Yeah.
There's one where Sam Jackson's Nick Fury. Well, it's not Sam Jackson, but it's him. He goes to all these other movies, and he recruits in Twilight. He's like, I'm building the Avengers. Why don't you in this key scenes?
I haven't seen that.
It's pretty funny. In these key scenes, he walks us into.
Did you link that to him on AIM?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Okay.
But he walks into all this into all these other movies, and he tries to recruit these random ass characters. And I'm pretty sure there's one where the same actor who portrayed that Nick Fury is doing a Blade where he's killing people from Twilight.
Nice.
Yeah. Which George Takei also said in this little spiel that Buffy, Blade, it's up to you to take over. It's pretty funny.
Well, yes, you should always do what George Takei says.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my. He's the star broker. The broker of star peas is his new nickname.
He's
now.
creepy, is what he is.
Yeah, one of these days he's gonna wake
awesome.
up in your bed and say hello, bro.
I would be
I'm
okay
gonna
with
kill
that.
him.
Okay, now for my good news, because George
Good
Takei is always
news.
good news. This isn't good news for the week. Brian Michael Bendis is off the Avengers and New Avengers apparently.
Even better.
So that only leaves him 7 Avengers books he's going to be working on in
Son of
2012. No. I don't know if he's still going to be working on that movie Avengers team. I think he's only doing the first arc on that.
Huh?
So there's
the comic book that's coming out about the movie?
No, it's not. No, it's not about the movie. There's another ongoing Avengers title coming out that Bendis is doing the first arc on, which is Cap, Thor, Iron Man. Oh wait, isn't Thor dead? Cap, Thor, Iron Man. Oh wait, actually no, I don't think Thor's on that picture. I think there's a giant
Thor
open.
is dead?
There's
Again?
a giant open space.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Thor dies in Fear Itself.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh.
But nobody read it, so nobody knew about it.
He's back at the end of Fear Itself 7.2.
Oh, that's true.
There's this
That's
giant
a clone?
No, he just wakes
Who
up.
knows? He just wakes up.
There's this giant open empty spot with Thor could totally perfectly fit that's on the cover artwork. Yeah. But it's it's Bendis and Mark Bagley doing the first arc, and it's all the people from the movie in one comic. Anyway. So yes, Brian Michael Bendis was quoted as saying, "I'm going to wrap up Avengers and New Avengers." At the time, the first story line of Avengers Assemble, that's what it is, will be done. It's a good time to move on to other things. Before I go, though, many things big. I'm in a countdown mode. When you're watching a show like Breaking Bad, blah, 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 blah. I've written over 200 issues. I'm very, very proud of that, and what we have coming up this summer gives me the opportunity to go out on a high note. I know enough about show business to know that's a great time to go. I think you should have gone 185 issues ago, but that's
I agree also.
I don't know exactly. When me and Brock started this podcast, we kind of did a history of our comic book reading, sort of where we came from comics. Avengers is one of the very, very, very first comics I bought. I've always liked the team books, and I've bought Avengers basically since I first started collecting comics all the way until 504.
Yeah, this is one of your main collections you're trying to complete, too.
Right.
Isn't it?
I picked up an Avengers number 4 earlier this year, the first Silver Age Captain America, where he comes back. I got a real nice copy for a sweet deal.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Almost the entire run. I'm missing a good chunk between 1 through 50, but once you went about 51 and up, I have almost all of them. I've got a complete run from 70 to the very end of until they relaunched Avengers, so through Disassembled, and I just couldn't do it. It was so bad. It was
a jumping off point probably for
Right.
you when they did the whole Disassembled thing.
And I don't want to say New Avengers and Avengers and Bendis stuff has been bad, because it's had its good points.
Yeah.
But it has not been the Avengers. And even his New Avengers book, not his New Avengers book, not New Avengers, the relaunched Avengers title that he's written, it doesn't feel like anything different. And it's just, I'm glad to see him off.
To me, whenever Bendis started writing the Avengers, and I actually really like Bendis' run on Ultimate Spidey. I even like this run on Daredevil and stuff like that. I actually really
Sure.
I really respect him as a writer. However, the Avengers just never felt as the Avengers to me. To me, when he took over, it didn't really. It's like reading a Superman book without Superman in it. To me, that's how Avengers felt like. It's like Avengers book without the Avengers in it.
You know, had they done New Avengers for a year, brought back the real Avengers with a regular writer, and continued, even if they wanted to continue this New Avengers side book, that's fine.
Yeah.
I think the concept is fine, and his writing is not bad. It's just the lack of a real Avengers title.
Yeah, I mean, he basically wrote his favorite characters.
Right.
He wrote the team, and it really does feel and come off that way,
right.
Which always kind of bothered me. I was like, if you want to read about a book about all my favorite characters, I'll write it myself. I'm like, I don't have to read someone else's favorite characters.
Well, I mean, I read some of Bendis' Avengers stuff, and when I was reading his Avengers stuff, it was kind of like we have 2 Avengers books, and neither one of them is the Avengers book.
Right.
It's New Avengers, and we have
4 Avengers books now.
And that's the thing is...
Secret was really cool in the beginning.
But it's not Avengers.
Yeah.
Is going from, like, when they had New Avengers, Mighty Avengers, and Avengers Initiative.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed Avengers Initiative because it was a book of, like, the book and the title alone said this is something different, but it's attached to the Avengers. Whereas now I tried to get into the Avengers book. I read, I think, 3 issues of the current run, and I couldn't get into it because it's like, all right, there's the Avengers, then there's the New Avengers, and the New Avengers picks up how bad the prior New Avengers was.
Yeah.
You know, so you have all of this stuff where it's just like, I'm like, I can't jump on 4 books when I was reading 3 books before.
To go back on the Secret Avengers thing, actually, I think I also liked it partly because it felt to me, not as Avengers book, but it reminded me of the West Coast Avengers.
Yeah, I can see that.
So,
but that was Brubaker.
Yeah, that was Brubaker.
That wasn't
Bendis. No, that's why I probably read it and liked it.
But just the idea that there's so many Avengers titles and no real Avengers book has been my issue.
Now, to give a little history, since you gave it, when I first started reading Marvel comics in Europe, when it came out in German, The Avengers was one of the main books I really loved, and it was half of it's the regular Avengers, and the other, because it's all in, like, it's a mini trade, it's like a little digest book over there. The second half was usually the West Coast Avengers, and man, I loved the West Coast Avengers, man. That was really good stuff. I really enjoyed it.
Well, what I like about the West Coast Avengers, and in theory it's the same with the new Avengers, is that they're not Cap, Thor, and Iron Man. They are some kind of the side characters. And normally, I mean, I do like that.
Yeah.
I like Justice League International where it's not Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. But I don't want that at the loss of a quote-unquote real title with these characters in it.
Well, this is why I have such a soft spot for Brown Coat Avengers, because that was like the timing that I read all of that stuff in. So,
and again, that's a perfect example of a time where the real Avengers kind of setup was gone. You know, and I mean, it was such at that time period, the mid-90s, early mid-90s, I mean, Cersei and Hercules and Quicksilver, like, I don't... they're not bad characters, really.
No, it worked. I mean,
you're talking about the team during the Blood Ties.
No, but still, Steve was leading the team. So to me, whenever you have like a core, like even if the outer is a little different, and they come back and the core is the same. I actually do think of as an Avengers identity. Yeah.
Well, I think what's funny about the Avengers is that I
don't like Cersei. God, I want her back.
If you're comparing like Avengers in the sense of like the core team has always been up and down and never really solid, we haven't had a solid kind of Avengers book lately. And then you go to something like Justice League, which follows kind of along the same vein, where we have the core and then we get rid of the core and we get it's like both books for Marvel and DC have this turnover of the artists that come in and say, "Yeah, I don't want to write these characters anymore. I'm going to make a new team."
No, it's the exact opposite. What happens is the writers say, "Cool, I'm taking over JLA." In the case of James Robinson, they're like, "Cool, here's JLA. You can't use Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, Aquaman, Martian Manhunter. Go have fun." And he's like, "What the fuck?" And this is what happened during Justice. It led to Justice League International, the same sort of idea, but I mean, they were able to do something unique with it. In the case of Avengers, it was probably a case of them being like, well, Cap, Thor, Iron Man, we have other stuff we want to do with them. They can't be in the book. So, I mean, I'm okay if you kind of just get one of the guys in there. Like during Kurt Busiek and George Perez's run on Avengers, there was a couple points where there was some different characters in there. They definitely expanded the team a little bit. But you kind of always need a Cap or Thor or Iron Man in there to sort of
to balance it out.
To balance it.
Yeah.
You know,
or to ground it even,
Right.
Yeah.
You kind of need someone in there that's that's more of a classic. It doesn't have to be those three, Scarlet Witch, Vision, Hawkeye. It doesn't have to be like the exact same people in every single issue.
Well, I think like one of the main reasons I really enjoyed Avengers Initiative was like the Ant-Man was a main character in that one for a long time before he went and was the main character for Mighty. And I kind of think that's why I stuck with Mighty for so long, even though it was so bad, was that Ant-Man was, kind of the leader of this, ragtag group of Avengers.
Sure.
Where in Initiative it was, you had, Taskmaster. It was awesome that Taskmaster was, kind of this villain turned teacher. And you're like, well, is he going to be good? And you had all of these, different types of characters doing different types of things. But it was like solid characters.
Taskmaster is a teacher quite a bit of times. Yeah. But
it's one of those things where, you had a core character leading Initiative. You had a core character in, the Mighty Avengers. But with, like, the new Avengers, it seemed like it kept floating back to was it Luke Cage?
Well, yeah,
but then it's
Luke
like
Cage and Spider-Woman, and those are all what's all Bendis' favorite characters. It's always going to go back to them.
But we never had like you said, we never went back to Cap or Tony or Vision or Vision
really.
Vision would have been a great kind of anchor.
Well, Vision has been shafted because he's stuck in the Avengers Children's Crusade Young Avengers kind of timeline, if you will, of books that are totally out of continuity with everything else. And so Vision's wrapped up with that. He's coming back into the main books. I think they just brought him back in one of the books because that book's almost over, and that's leading into the big X-Men versus Avengers crossover.
Which, are you even excited for that?
No. Okay.
Because it's so original that they're doing that.
well, here, I'll tell you what is exciting. So Marvel next year, their big crossover for the year is going to be Avengers versus the X-Men.
Which is actually, from a big marketing standpoint for, not us, but you think about the whole world, they just had a slew of the big X-Men movies, right?
Right.
They are going to have their Avengers big push now.
Well, they're having that big Avengers push, and there's going to be another X-Men film.
Right.
Well, they're working on it.
Sure.
Based off of the characters that were in the last one.
Yeah, the sequel to the First Class. They're working on it. But you got X-Men big franchise, Avengers first. As a big company, you're going to do X-Men as Avengers. Yeah. However, to people like us, it's like groins, what happened?
Was it Bendis, Fraction, Brubaker, and is there another writer involved? And there's a pretty decent chunk of artists.
Yeah,
they're basically like rotating issues, so it's going to come out pretty quickly. But no, this is what I am excited for. From everything I've heard, it is going to be very small. It is going to be like those 12 issues, but it's not going to be like a year. It's going to be like bi-weekly, so it's going to be like 2 or 3 months or something. Those 12 issues, like a frontline sort of side story and maybe a couple crossovers into the main books, it's not going to be 50 or 60 or 70 issues. Which that's exactly fine. I don't mind these family crossovers, Superman, Batman, Green Lantern.
In fact, in the past, I really loved them when they did the Infinite Wars and... or is it the Infinite Wars?
Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah,
Infinity War.
No, when they went into like the other parallel world and had to fight each other and stuff like that.
The Heroes Reborn?
No. When
Avengers? X-Men?
Yeah, it was like
Age of Apocalypse?
No. It's older than that. When like this one space dude will like take these heroes and they have to like compete in these games and they fight each other.
Contest of Champions?
Yes.
That was like the first.
I like those.
Crossover that
I like
Marvel
those, but I liked it when it was like 6 issues, 12 issues.
Well, I think,
but they were self-contained with very little crossing over.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I prefer.
Yeah, just sort of their
if
own
you're gonna do
thing.
a crossover, that's kind of what I prefer.
Yeah,
I don't like it when the whole entire line is based on the crossover.
Well, if you're gonna do like you said, the family crossover, then keep it within the family. Having a frontline book, I think, is amazing. Even though the Fear Itself home front book was the frontline book,
awful,
and it was completely abysmal. I liked
it.
I loved the Speedball story. The Speedball story was awesome. I liked it.
In what world does Brock love a Speedball story? And I'm like,
I know.
Not even going to read
what
it.
What alternate universe are we in?
Is this where Speedball is like hurting himself with spikes and?
No, this isn't a penance. It's he's in a new costume, and
because that's people Ryan says doesn't even exist.
He's repenting for the sins of penance, and I'm just like, roll my eyes. Done. One issue. Never. I'm done with this stupid piece of garbage.
Anyway, but no, I think having a title like that, because I really enjoyed the Frontline title. reading it for World War Hulk and reading it for Secret Invasion. I enjoyed what we got out of that title. I didn't actually read it for Civil War, but I heard it was good.
I mean, it's all subjective.
Yeah. But yeah, having a little bit of crossover here with certain characters, miniseries, that's fine. But when you're jumping into, like you said, the Fear Itself, chaos where it's Deadpool has a miniseries, but the regular Deadpool series is crossing over.
The reason why we're so tired of it is because it's not just Fear Itself; it's everything that went before it. That's why we're so tired of it. So it's going to be refreshing to see that they're going to be a smaller thing.
Well, when you had something like Blackest Night, which as many Blackest Night books there was, it was pretty small comparatively to some of the crossovers. So.
Well, and then with the Blackest Night stuff, you didn't have
but there was quality in all those. And you really didn't have to read it. But on Fear Itself, you really don't have to read any of those side stories anyway.
You don't really have to read Fear Itself, period.
Right, but I mean, they completely go against themselves by the end of the series. But so this whole Avengers versus X-Men crossover, it looks, I'm sure it's going to be fine, but... who are you selling to? This is not a new audience. You're just going to yourself. This is the complete counter to the new 52.
Well, that's what I mean. I wonder if this is what they're trying to do, is sell to a new audience. You don't think they're trying to pull in the movie people? I really do think that's I'm not saying that they're going to be successful at it.
A 36-part crossover is not how you pull in new people.
No, it's I guess new people, but the movie people. I think that's the thought process behind it. They might not be doing it the right way, but I think that's their thought process.
Their thought process is, what are our two top selling books? Spider-Man or X-Men and Avengers? Cool, do it. Cross them over.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
It's one of those things where, like, I get this. I've gotten this before when I've been in the shop. Someone comes in, I just saw the Captain America movie. You got anything by Cap? Yeah, you can pick up this Brubaker Omnibus for $75, or you can pick up this trade for $20. This is the first, good starting point for Cap. Oh, okay. And then they pick it up and they're like, and then they never come back.
Yeah.
But
people need to. I go back and forth on this. It is nigh impossible to create a superhero in a Marvel DC universe that isn't connected with the rest of the titles in some fashion.
Yeah.
So I think what they're doing at the New 52 is working for DC, is working really well because the characters coexist, but the crossover levels are basically non-existent. You have like a character, Green Lantern, that appeared in Voodoo,
yes,
but it does not affect his main book. This is the way comics always used to be.
Yeah, it was more fun that way, too.
I think it works a lot better, and they're getting away from the big major crossovers. I have no problem with crossovers as long as they are kept to very limited amounts. If the continuity between the books is fine, so don't have Kyle, lose an arm in one book and he's running around fine in the other book. I mean, I fix stuff like that.
Yeah. But
if you have characters appearing in other titles, that's fine. The bigger crossovers, do them once in a while, but they're like, oh yeah, no big crossovers. When Marvel, after Secret Invasion, they're like, oh, no big crossovers. And it was like a year and a half with all sorts of sort of like little crossovers around it, and then Fear Itself. So it's like, that doesn't count.
It was the Dark Avengers. It was all that dark stuff after Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
And then it's like, we're leading up to,
No, that was the Heroes. That was the whole of the Return. The Heroes, what was it called? The Golden Age or something? Or the Heroic
Age, which lasted like 2 seconds?
Well, again, those are not crossovers. It's just that's sort of like the New 52. It's just sort of this title. For
I wouldn't even put it in that caliber. It was an attempt at a new something, but it failed miserably.
Right. Well, anyway, Bendis is leaving Avengers.
Woohoo.
But, I did have a follow-up to that, though.
Uh-oh.
As happy as I am as Bendis is leaving the Avengers, that leaves their arguably top titles with no writers. Who's taking over?
Loeb, right?
Because I was going to say
Mark Miller.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Well, did you read the thing on Mark Miller said that there's a big change is coming to the comic book industry in the next year?
Who's going to take over Avengers? If it's Mark Miller or Jeff Loeb or Warren Ellis or Fear Itself, Matt Fraction, give me Bendis back. Like their biggest, Marvel's biggest writers, other than Bendis, would be worse than Bendis. And if they're not going to throw some nobody on the book, I mean, maybe Jonathan Hickman, but I don't think Hickman sells books. It's just his work does, but I don't think the name does. And I don't know if Hickman nails FF because of the sci-fi stuff. I don't know that it would work on Avengers.
Maybe Avengers.
Shield and that Secret Warriors, like neither of those have worked for me. So
I like Secret Warriors up to a point.
I didn't.
And then it just kind of was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Just like, I mean, Hickman's Fantastic Four. It's like, I got it, I read it, but I just couldn't get into reading something and then having this blurb about what happened, and then that was the end of the book. It was kind of like, well, why didn't you just make that the next issue?
You know, with that said, I'm actually really ready for some new blood.
Well, Marvel or at the top?
Well, at Marvel or just in general. I mean, DC's obviously got a handle on all their story writing and stuff like that.
Right.
Honestly, at Marvel, besides Brewbreaker, I'm not really excited about any of the guys. So
Yeah.
I'm actually really, I would welcome new writers or new fresh ideas or do a whole swap. I mean, the guys have been writing side titles. Maybe give them the big title, see what they can do with it.
I'd be down with that, but I just I almost wonder if we're going to start seeing less names, because if Bendis can barely sell 50,000 copies of the Avengers, fuck, anyone could sell 50,000 copies of Avengers.
Yeah, well, basically going back to the olden days where it was more about the book and the characters than it was about,
the creators.
The creators, yeah.
Right. Which
is scary.
I mean, there are always going to be names, but are there enough people buying, or do people just not care? Like, do people really care who's writing Amazing Spider-Man? It's funny because, we're going to kind of not talk about this too long here, but there was a big back and forth. We're running along. There was a big back and forth with J. Michael Straczynski and Stephen Wacker, who's the longtime editor of Spider-Man, kind of back and forth on numbers of their books, and just sort of just some bitch fight between the two of them. But
Straczynski actually wrote more than he's written in the past year on this Facebook page, so that was depressing.
Well, published maybe, but it's does those big names... Well, I think we're at the part now where those big names usually don't sell books. You get a couple. I mean, you get, your Grant Morrison, but even Grant Morrison can write Joe the Barbarian or some of the smaller Vertigo books, and they're not going to sell, Take Johns off Green Lantern, put him on Booster Gold, it doesn't sell hardly anything, comparatively, right? So it's the mix of character and writer. That's why Grant Morrison, Superman, boom! That's your big book.
You brought up
Jeff Johns, Jim Lee, JLA, boom!
You brought up Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man has been written by who in the past 3 years?
Dan Slott.
Dan Slott, a couple other people.
They had a lot of... Mark Waid, Dan Slott. They had a lot of rotating creators.
But that's the thing is Spider-Man's had so many rotating creators in the past 3 years that...
It was a group of creators that rotated.
I'm still waiting for my J. Scott Campbell interior art Spider-Man.
Yeah. Keep waiting.
But that's the thing is were people buying Spider-Man because of those writers, or were they buying Spider-Man because it was just Spider-Man?
Well, and I think what's happened here is there are very few creators at this point that push people beyond what they're going to buy anyway. Mm-hmm. So I believe at this point, more people are buying based on character than creator, because there's only a couple guys. There was a bunch of guys. Everyone would buy every Bendis book for a long time.
I was one of them.
Me too. Yeah. Everyone would buy every Warren Ellis book. Everyone would buy every Mark Miller book. Everyone would buy every Jeff Johns book and Grant Morrison.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it doesn't seem it's like that anymore.
The big guys are starting to kind of slip away, and we haven't had a new group of big guys at the top.
Yeah.
And
that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, look, I'm ready for some new blood.
Well, I think that's maybe why...
And there's no J. Scott Campbell or Joe Mad or none of these guys.
No, there's like no new standouts really coming out.
Right.
Well, in the, what was it? Oh, man, you made me lose my train of thought, you bastard.
Well, I was going to say, there are many great creators, but I will argue at this point, none of them are moving the needle. It doesn't matter if they're good or not. You could say, what the heck's his name? Like, that does all Agents of Atlas and stuff. Jeff Parker. Everyone praises Jeff Parker. Every book that guy does fails. Like, the 10 people on the internet that love this guy, I think he's a fine writer. I have nothing against this guy personally. Yeah. But the 10 people pushing this guy on the internet are not the 100,000 comic book fans buying books on Wednesdays.
Well, it's like it's like Scott Snyder. Scott Snyder popped on the scene, last year?
I'll give you Scott Snyder. And I think Scott Snyder can move books.
And the thing is
one of the very, very few new guys.
The problem is he's already falling under the wayside of too many books he's on.
He's only writing one book? Or two books?
He's writing American Vampire. He's writing Severed.
Vampire.
He's
Severed's
writing
over. Is there just a mini?
No, it's still going. I don't know if he's finished with it.
I think he finished it a long time ago.
Yeah, but he's writing right now. He's writing for Swamp Thing. He's writing for Detective.
Batman.
Batman, or no? I thought Batman was Daniel.
Batman. That's
it's
Detective.
Batman.
Detective is
Daniel.
Tony Daniels.
So he's writing 3, but before that, and he's still writing American Vampire. So he's writing 4 books right now, and you can kind of see the little, like, the cracks in the foundation with writing that many books. But again, he's a new talent, but he's a really good new talent.
Yeah. There's very few other than him. I'll put that. And I hope Jeff Lemire, after Animal Man, I hope people give him more work. I haven't seen anyone else jumping on iZombie, though, which is unfortunate. Or not iZombie, Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth.
You know what? I couldn't get into it. I just couldn't
tried.
get but that's the thing is there's some things that people can get into. Like I can get behind Jason Aaron's Scalped, but I can't get behind Jason Aaron's Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Or Jason Aaron's, X-Men. I can't. Like
Sure.
Like I jumped off Avengers after they did the new stuff. I jumped off of X-Men. I think that that's the problem generally you're seeing with Marvel is that people are jumping off because there's not that new influx of talent where we're kind of seeing redone stories over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm definitely seeing a lot of rehash stories.
I do like this one artist that's been popping on Marvel here and then. It's like Lan Medina, I think it is. He might not be new, but he did that New Mutants run. New Warriors, where it's actually the New Mutants. Remember when the New Warriors, New Mutants
Paco
run?
Medina?
Paco Medina, that's right.
That's his name?
Yeah, I like him.
He's been around for a while.
Yeah, but they don't really give him a really good shot. I feel like he could have it. I mean, he did like a couple of X-Men issues like randomly. I really like those. You don't think so? I really like those.
You know what I'm going to say about him?
What?
He's kind of a bad not Chris Picciolo. He's kind of a bad Ramos.
I like him a little better than Ramos.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you really liked Humberto Ramos.
I do, but I really like this guy's art, and he doesn't show up often enough. I really, really dig his book. His art, I'll pick up on books. I have no interest in whatsoever. I'll pick it up for his
He's got
art.
a very unique style. I mean, it's not really my thing, but he's got a very unique style.
I really, really dig that Paco Medina guy, and I really hope he gets like a flagship title. And let him maybe he's slow. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's a slow guy. I really don't know why he's not.
Well, what the hell is the artist slowing down Children's Crusade, or is that just the writer?
No, that's totally the writer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
Paco Medina. Yeah.
It's one of those things where I think we're seeing that where did Wade sell the new Daredevil book?
Yeah, I mean it's a lot. Yes, New Daredevil has the needle has been moved because of Mark Waid's name. Yes,
and has Rucka moved Punisher
over the people they had on previous? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
but did it move it past Punisher Max?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think first, like,
but again,
like
a Garth Ennis or Punisher Max is not going to sell to a more casual fan. I mean, Garth Ennis's work, despite being maybe critically acclaimed, has never really been really popular. I mean, things like Preacher sell really well in trade paperback, but when it was coming out, I mean, it was just kind of an okay selling book. So,
yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see what's going on. If it's Mark Miller world in Marvel this next year.
So
that's scary.
Avengers, Bendis, we may want you back after we hear the replacement. So,
so yeah. Other than that, do we have anything else to talk about?
No. Hit me with your pick.
Hit me with your pick. Toby, you're first.
No, I'm not.
When you guys gotta have a pick for this week, huh? Gonna edit out all our long. I'm gonna make the worst pick ever because it's not really a pick, but it's not a specific pick, but it's gonna be something that I'm gonna tell people to go do. It's been a small discussion on the forum between myself and a few of the other regulars about kind of looking back at older comic books and trying to find out, what people. It's kind of hard for maybe kind of bigger comic book fans to go back and read older material and not really get into it. I use the example a lot of the times. If you go back and read the Chris Claremont X-Men run, it's really rough comparatively to modern stuff.
I even went and tried to read Jim Lee's X-Men #1, the re-inked version.
It's still rough.
It's rough as shit to try and read that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
That's Claremont. Yeah,
that's Claremont. But the funny thing is it was a little bit easier for me to go back and read Wildcats #1 over the X-Men #1.
So this is not a specific book that I'm going to recommend, but I also spent a good part of the weekend pressing up a bunch of old Bronze and Silver Age books. So my challenge to people out there is go buy some old comic books, read them. The complaint that a lot of people have is that comic books used to be so much better back in the day because they were more accessible and all this stuff. And while I think that's true, going back to that format, I don't think would work for a modern audience.
I think they were more fun at one point. They were a little more.
They're definitely a lot darker these days.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little more, happy comics back.
But do people want fun?
I don't know. I mean, I like the Power Girl run that Palmiotti did with Amanda Connor.
Sure.
I would consider that a fun book, not a dark, brooding superhero book.
No, that was fun.
I miss those.
And it sold about what I expected a fun comic book to sell, unfortunately. Yeah. So, yeah. I know. I read it. I loved it.
I like those books. Yeah. I miss those kind of books, to be honest.
But I'd love to see some people, especially, the digital comic things. They have a lot of old comic books. I kind of want to, if people can maybe shoot us some emails, if you pick up some old random comics to read them. Check out some older books, especially when you get to like 50s, 60s. We're kind of at the height of some of the popularity of these titles, outside the original kind of launch of Superman and Batman. I'd like to see what people think of these old titles, reading them from a modern perspective. The Marvel ones tend to be a little better written. I mean, I'll give you that. But I pressed up a lot of old Batman and DC stuff, and there's a fun. Like you said, there is a funness to them, but going back to that format isn't.
Yeah.
Isn't
some of the
realistic?
Doesn't. Yeah, some of the stuff just really doesn't read the same way anymore.
Right.
And some of the rewriting and reimagining of these old stories actually are good to read this way, in the new way rather than the old way. Yeah.
So that's my not really a pick, but my pick for the week. So
that's like so open ended. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. You gonna pick Day Tripper, Brock?
Again?
Yeah. Fourth time.
I want people to buy it for their loved ones this season. Like, I definitely... No, that's not my pick again. It was my first double pick, but that's going to happen. I mean, I brought this up to you. Are we going to do seasons on this, or are we just going to keep going with higher numbering?
No reboot here. No relaunch. No variant cover relaunch. No white sketch cover.
No white sketch cover.
No renumbered.
All right, well,
volume.
since we mentioned Straczynski earlier, I'm going to go with a Straczynski book. I really like the Supreme Power. It's almost like his take of a realistic Justice League.
Have you ever read the original Squadron Supreme miniseries?
I did not. No, I never did, actually. I got to be honest.
Going back and reading that, it is a little rough, but I think it actually, for the most part, stands up. It's a very darker book, even though it is in this. It very has that Watchmen sort of feel. Okay. Not quite to that, not clearly to that level of writing, but it is. I actually highly recommend it. It's a good book. There's my pick. I'll pick Squadron Supreme. He picks Supreme Power. Yeah. There you go.
Does this mean I have to pick a J. Michael Straczynski book?
Squadron Supreme wasn't by J. Michael Straczynski.
Oh, okay.
That was back in like the 80s.
Yeah, that's the one that Michael Straczynski based it on.
Right. Yeah. Sort of like his retelling of it.
Yeah, but I really, really liked his take on it. That was really cool. Until he met... Straczynski is an interesting writer. I like it when he has an end to a book. Like his miniseries, excellent stuff.
Yeah.
All this other stuff starts out freaking phenomenal.
And they just sort of...
And then they just kind of disappear.
Yeah.
It's a shame. Like Thor started out phenomenal, and then, Marvel kind of screwed him on that one.
Well, probably know why. He's a writer for, like, TV shows and movies.
Oh, okay. He has great ideas, and then...
Well, I think he has great episode ideas. And great 2-hour plot, great 2-hour movie plots. Yeah. And then it's like, 3 years later, wow, fuck it.
Because,
sure, Spider-Man's totem turns into a spider. I have no idea,
Well, like Midnight Nation, I loved that book.
That was a good book?
That was an excellent book.
That was a good
Rising Stars started out really good, and then it just kind of...
fell apart.
Yeah. And it's really funny. When Heroes came out, I couldn't stop thinking about Rising Stars because it felt to me as a second-rate Rising Stars, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, when he has an end in sight, his stuff is amazing. So, yeah. I'll go with that. So, Rocco, you're it.
He's looking.
Rocco.
Yeah, you're it.
Rocco.
That's his stall tactic, yeah.
That's my stall tactic, yeah. It's my stall tactic.
You don't even want to pick Cry for Justice. It's sitting right in front of you.
Yeah. I read that. Garbage.
It's okay.
It was garbage. I didn't like it at all.
Brock's staring at the DC wall. He's looking at Seven Soldiers, but I already recommended that.
I haven't even read that yet.
It's good.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to recommend? I'm going to recommend All-Star Superman.
Nice.
Either I'm recommending because they just released.
Blu-ray?
Actually, I have a copy. I haven't watched it yet.
I really surprised me. I liked it.
No, All-Star Superman. You can pick it up right now in a oversized trade for both volumes, which is nice. I think it's what, $20?
It's like 20 or 30, yeah.
No, 20 or 30. I don't think it's $30. I think it's only $19.99.
I think it's 30.
Huh?
I think it's 30.
For the soft cover?
I think so.
Oh, wow.
No? Is it right there? You can check.
I don't know.
You can pick it up. I'm saying $24.99. That's my final answer.
No, it's $30.
Is it 30? Okay. Yeah, I was right. Like I said, $30.
It's a nice paper.
Paper makes a difference.
Well, you can get that or you can get the Absolute Edition.
But it's by Grant Morrison.
I know.
You don't like Grant
I
Morrison?
enjoyed that All-Star Superman run. And Frank Quitely's art's really, really good.
Yes, it is. I have an original page.
Why am I I
Yeah, with the
recommended...
giant penis.
I know.
And the urine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
helped
I was
you hang
thinking
it
of
in the
something
back.
else.
Jeez. No, All-Star Superman.
Is it
I really
hanging in the
enjoyed it.
bathroom? Is that where it is? Oh, okay.
No, I really enjoyed Morrison and All-Star Superman.
Yes.
I
And
think
Frank
we
Quitely-
need to clarify there that Superman in that picture is holding something that resembles something else.
Superman's holding something that's drawn.
He's
It sketch-wise
holding
looks like a penis.
Alien penis.
He's holding a lava
Spray?
spray gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's spraying down.
So it looks like he's hosing something?
He's hosing down. Freaking the
you don't say the word I tell you to say.
He's hosing down the Sun Lord's
Yeah.
cell.
The Sun Lord.
Yeah. What the hell's his name?
Jesus.
I can't remember that guy's name now. Oh, it's killing me.
It's a cool page, I have to say.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, recommending also Superman. It's like recommending Sandman. It's like one of my favorite comics of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, why have I recommended it and you haven't?
You know, it's
I
funny.
can't
I'm not-
recommend it yet.
I've recommended like We 3 and
That's fine.
It's funny. You love Frank Quitely. I
do.
can't stand that guy's art.
Really?
I respect the dude. I can't stand his
Why?
art. It's why I never could stand new X-Men. You know, when they had the Grant Morrison.
Wow.
Frank, I couldn't stand that stuff. It's probably the
Is it
reason.
because everyone's ugly?
Yeah, I just can't stand it.
Kinda-
I don't
kinda
like
puffy?
it. No, it's the faces
No,
and all
but
the
all of them
lines.
look like you.
You know what?
Maybe that's why I no.
I have
Frank Quitely, or if anyone who
I
knows
open
Frank
up
Quitely,
the book and I'm like,
can
it's
you draw
fucking
us,
Ryan in this book. I
know.
can't read it and it's not.
Can you
that.
send us like a portrait of Ryan Higgins
I
by
just
Frank
don't-
Quitely? I want to see that. I want to see how he would draw you, because if it's completely and utterly different, then he draws you.
Now, are you saying this because you've heard me say this before, or have you just come to this conclusion? Because
You-
it is a known internet fact that I look like a Frank Quitely drawing.
You do look like a Frank Quitely drawing.
Yeah, I don't know how to take that because he draws all those people kind of fat and puffy. I don't know how
Well,
to take
I don't
that.
know. You're getting there, Mr.
You know,
Fatty Patterson.
I do get it. I respect
Here,
the
I'll
guy,
find the penis
but Frank Quitely, I see some work he did before he did All-Star Superman, and
It's
he
different, yeah.
No. He did the whole analysis of how Clark should be versus
Yeah.
when he's Superman. I
Sure.
really like that.
Oh, yeah.
The character working on stuff. He did a really
Yeah.
good job with that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
It's the nose.
Say I'm a big nose?
It's
No, it
the
could be
nose.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
the
what
next
Brocco is doing here is he's showing me pictures of All-Star Superman right now. He's trying to get me to say it looks like Ryan, but I think it's the chins.
I
for
look
me.
like
Maybe
All-Star
the
Superman.
chins.
I don't like the chin that he does. No, I just saying what I don't like. I mean, I don't know what it is. I respect the dude. I have nothing against it. I really enjoyed the All-Star cartoon, but I think the main reason why I never read the All-Star book is because I can't take his art.
No, I really enjoy his art.
And hopefully, because me liking All-Star the cartoon, the All-Star Superman cartoon, hopefully I could enjoy the book now.
Yeah, you can read the book. It's
Oh, how did you like Secret Origin? Have you read it yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I'm getting there. It might be my pick for next week, so be warned.
the Superman Secret Origin.
Yeah, because
You know what? I loved some Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. I love Gary Frank
Midnight Nation.
to a degree
Midnight Nation. Since
until
we're on
any
it.
character opens their mouth and you see all their teeth. Every time,
Yeah, they're like,
freaks
"Ah."
me out. Every time.
He should do
only-
a zombie book.
It's the only thing that prevents me from loving his work. It's that damn teeth. There's a shot in there where the original 3 Legion members are coming down to talk to Clark, and they look like they're going to eat his face. And I'm like, I love this
Wait
picture,
a
but I
minute.
don't like this art.
I know, he did Midnight Nation, right, with JMS.
Yeah.
But he also did Supreme Power, right? Or no, was that not him?
I don't think. Oh, yes, you did. Yes,
It
you
is,
did.
right?
Yep.
Oh, the
That's
two
Gary
were
Frank.
quite a bit together.
Yep. They're the original stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first series was
When it was good.
Gary Frank. Yeah, I don't think he did everything. I don't think he did all the minis and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, but I think he started off the main series with him.
Yeah. All right, we've clocked in over an hour here. Time to end this podcast. We will talk to everyone next week.
Yeah.
If you want to talk more about comic books with us, you can go on forums.geekbox.net. Geekbox.net is where we Geekbox.net is where we host this podcast and all sorts of other podcasts, as well as Comic Conspiracy, which is us.
Yes.
The Geekbox, which I'm on, Brock's on occasionally, and the Comedy Button, which is our new comedy podcast. Brock's answering a phone in the middle of a podcast
Comedy
recording.
Button is quite fun.
Sam!
Oh, I saw.
I'm going to call him back. Keep going.
Excellent. He's one of our old employees, Sam. Call him Brock.
He's
It's
alive.
fine. Doesn't call me. It's all right. It's how it is.
All right.
Where's your phone?
Yeah, I don't know. It's over there somewhere. Maybe you called me. I don't know.
Well, we should do a shout out to Sam right here, right now.
Shout out for Sam. Sam
out for
Lujan.
Sam.
Shout out for Sam.
Worked here for
Yeah.
many, many years.
Let's
You know,
get Sam
he's,
on the podcast.
He's a comics conspiracy, what's it
Legend.
called? Legend.
Alumni.
Alumni.
Yeah, it's,
Retired Jersey guy. And,
Yeah.
He's been in the trenches.
Yeah, I actually worked with him at What's Hot Comics over in Santa Clara for about a year before. I mean, when I was still working here, I worked at both shops. He worked here and there. We both worked at both shops at the same time. I've known Sam forever, and unfortunately, he had to leave some medical reasons. Just kind of, but he's seemed to be doing better these days. So
Good to
think,
hear.
yeah,
good to hear.
Yeah, hate to see kind of bad stuff happen to good people. So
Well,
Sam,
I think he was in the hospital once, and the nurse came over, and I think he said something like, "I need my mask back. They'll know who I am," or something like that to the nurse. And she was just like, "Wait, what? What are you talking about?" Or something about a mask. Either he's like, "Take my mask off. You don't know who I am," or either like, "I need my mask because otherwise they will know who I am," or
What
something.
drugs
like
is he on?
Oh,
Yeah.
who knows?
It was pretty funny though. He'll tell you the story a lot better than I ever will. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, if he's up for it, we should have him on here one time. You know, he
Absolutely.
talks a lot of indie books. He knows a lot of indie stuff, which I think would be a nice little
We
addition.
could do
to
it like
this,
a
so
Cole Crow episode.
we can get him in here one time. That'd be kind of cool if he's feeling up for it. That might be kind of cool.
Cool.
If you like Brock, which I don't know why you would, but you can go to conspiratorock.com and read his blog and posts and do stuff. I'm just kidding. It's the holiday season, Brock. We all love you.
he's not nodding
I don't
to
give a shit if you
what
like
just
me or
said.
not.
Yeah.
Yes, you can go to conspiratorock.com with my pull list up there and at least my random comic pick, and now a kind of new segment, which is shit you say on Tuesdays.
You being
I
me.
have to say the last couple haven't been that good. You do hit some good ones though. I like the one with the cheese and the cow.
Yeah, I don't even. He just randomly
That one was
said that
pretty
shit,
good.
and I was like,
if you can't afford it, you don't afford the cheese or something like that. Was hilarious. That one was pretty good. Some of the more recent one, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know. He was
those are
going
not so
off with
good.
the kids.
There's some good ones here and then, but the last couple, sorry, Brock. But
So-
you do have some good ones in there.
Can't
though.
always be. It's what he says.
So if NBC is looking for a new pilot,
That Shatner could
to have
star
William
in.
Shatner in.
Shatner is going to be playing a disgruntled comic book
Yeah.
store owner.
Shit that Ryan says on Tuesdays. This
Hopefully
fall
they'll
on
cast
NBC.
actually better co-stars this time that actually can act with him rather than
okay.
just being there.
I never saw it, so I have no idea.
No,
but-
it's Shatner is quite funny as a person, but
Yeah.
they surrounded him with these god awful
Oh, really?
actors. They're like you didn't give Shatner a chance to play off of anybody. It was like the
Yeah,
Shatner
yeah.
show, and everybody kind of dragged him behind. So it was just a horrible combination.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's too bad.
All right, that's it.
Get me those page impressions.
We're done with this.
My Google ads.
We're done with this.
I've made
podcast.
8 cents.
Click on Brock's ads. Get him more cents
All right,
because he currently has none.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly. I'm gonna kill you.
All right, we will talk to everyone next week. Yep, there you go. We're done.
bye.
Hey, you know what next episode is, right?